Hey everyone, how are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing fine. I know it's been a while since I came here on camera, here on YouTube to speak with you guys, but I'm pretty ecstatic today only because that as I live and breathe, I'm very happy to say that the deification rite that I have done along with the rite of wealth and prestige by J.S. Garrett from the group Become a Living God, well, it had done just wonderful for me. I had reaped so much benefits from it. I mean, the benefits are just pouring in. The synchronicities, the last 2 weeks is nothing but magical experience after magical experiences, which is a very beautiful thing to say the least. But at the same time, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about my ritual, but that will become just in a second. But however, let me just say this first before I get into the ritual. I want to first say that I thank every single one of you guys for staying with me till the end of this year, especially because even though this channel is very new, I really do appreciate that you guys are here. Now, I would like to say that when it comes to the deification rite, it just worked out just wonderfully for me. Oh, yes, it had. You see, what had ended up happening for myself is I had to follow each and every step of the rite of deification and the rite of wealth and prestige and power. Now, under the exact guidance of the Infernal Empire, for me to study J.S. Garrett's ritual, the mad scientist, as he likes to call himself, it was just a staggering experience because I first had to set up, like to me, it had to been at least my measurements like a 9 foot circle, and then within it a triangle, and then even within that triangle you have a little circle where your fire pit would be at, and I did all that. I summoned the four gatekeepers as the Become the Living God likes to refer to them as, but even though I do not and I'm not a part of the Become a Living God, but I do agree with J.S. Garrett's ritual. Because if you think about it, even though that you're a part of the Become a Living God or not, I did in fact, well, work with these gatekeepers already. Abaddon. I had Amamon. I had Belial. I had even Lucifer present. And that's actually very interesting because they would surround that 9 foot circle so that the ritual itself would not be hijacked. Because if you think about it, you don't know what is going to be summoned. I mean, you do. Obviously, it's going to be those 3 to 4 gatekeepers. But however, something else insidious may also intervene. It may act as an interloper to hijack your particular high level of magic. So that's what the gatekeepers are for. Now again, even though I'm not a part of the Become a Living God, but I agree with J.S. Garrett. Everything went just the way it was supposed to. I had 2 chickens or roosters and I had to sacrifice them. And I know before I continue, that is very new for me as well as it may be new for you to just do something like that. Because honestly speaking, that was very new for me. Coming from New York, that's something that we just don't do. Perhaps the country, Midwest, but here in New York, that's just something that we just can't wrap our minds around. But in fact, I know there are particular stores within New York that I had to go to that are willing to put their jobs on the line to give me live poultry. And they did just that. They didn't have to. But I received it and I did what I had to do. After all, I'm under the guidance of the Infernal Empire. Interestingly enough, I remember watching J.S. Garrett's video, not the deification rite, but about a year or so ago on some other channel. That's when I met Shemyenza through J.S. Garrett. Hence, in 2020, it wasn't a complete mystery when I saw his face and what he was offering, because I listened to his previous video about a wealth rite and I thought it was just fantastic. And again, That is how I got to know just a bit about that magician. So currently in 2020, as I've been on a hiatus yet again, but doing high level magic, as I said before, set up this huge 9 foot circle. Everything was going according to plan. I had the gatekeeper surrounding this circle so that it will not be hijacked. Dude, I kid you not. Right in the middle, right in the center of that circle was my fire pit. Once I put the second sacrifice into the fire pit, it was almost as if the Infernal Empire told me, so let it be done. Because you know why? When I put that second sacrifice in, the whole entire the fire pit itself blew up. It just exploded. I'm dead serious. It just fucking exploded. I don't know about you, but that was a sure sign that everything was okay. And not just that. Thereafter, all I got was nothing but almost every demonic being saying to me that everything has been accepted. Thank you. Thank you for having the balls to do this ritual, because not a lot of people will do this, especially for those who are squirmish when it comes to sacrificing. And that, I would have to say, is that I agree with. Both sides, rather. Those who don't want to do it due to taking another life, even though that it's an animal, even though I hold animals' lives of high regard as well, even equal to that of a human being. But yet it was out of necessity. Because when I thought to myself that I want to take myself to the next level, I'm going to do just that. I am going to take what I love to the next level. That's the occult, that's my magic. I might as well just deify myself. Have you noticed that I changed the channel's name? Yeah, I sure did. I changed it because way before the deification rite, the rite of wealth and prestige and power, I already had the mindset on where I wanted to do and where I wanted to go. So what I did was I purchased this, what you see right now. It's $1,000 plus that I had to drop down for this camera to give better quality for you guys here on this channel. Because you have to understand the mindset of the magicians that if you can and if you are able, you want to take whatever you have to the next level. So I didn't just take that seriously only within. You know how you interpret alchemy, how alchemy could only be viewed as inner work, whereas you could do the practice of actual alchemy, like really transmuting one material to actual gold. And that's what I'm here talking about. I was already of the mindset within myself that I'm taking everything to the next fucking level. It is 2020 and I am not satisfied with myself that I have to be here on lockdown and not do anything with myself or my particular magic. So what do? Well, I simply have to keep on pushing myself. So I brought this camera. I changed the channel's name and I made sure that whatever content that I have will remain the same as far as quality and quantity is concerned. But I thought that the image, the name, I had to rank it up a little bit. I have to upgrade. But that was my inner work. Sooner than later, I was just saying to myself, and then I was saying to myself, how is it that I could just do more because I wanted more power, so to speak. But then again, the power that I thought I wanted, I didn't even know what I was asking for. So I connected to Lucifer, King Paimon, Shemienza. They all did their part. And I'm gonna have different videos for each one of them. And I won't say it in this particular video because that is how much that these three deities, these beautiful, infernal, dark beings have helped me out throughout this whole entire long hiatus that I've been on YouTube. So yeah, I was definitely doing a lot of work when I was off camera. And it just fucking, it led to this deification rite. And I thought that since the beginning of 2020, I saw myself without a job, working hard for Satan still. But what am I going to do next? Satan simply told me that I had to do YouTube, put myself out there. I did it. I guess it's for publicity. If you want this, meaning your wealth, do publicity for me. I did it. I don't mind. Because after all, since I was younger, here on the left-hand path after leaving Christianity, I saw myself just in the mirror, talking to myself, imagining speaking with you guys. I might as well say you guys, because there I was in front of the mirror talking to myself, telling people, sharing with them all the experiences that I had in my life and how I'm able to transmute that so that you guys could get that content, so that you could be better encouraged in your path working. It's not so much me trying to change you, but to enhance and to give you more encouragement on the path that we are all on, called life, especially here on the left-hand path. That's what I was doing some time ago. Sure enough, it wasn't coincidence that, to me, it wasn't just publicity for Satan. He knew what I was about. From the very first dark miracle that I've experienced with him, throwing myself into the abyss, coming out being something more than what I was. No wonder I was in front of the mirror in my bathroom speaking to myself, but imagining you guys. Now I get really emotional about this type of thing because it's a passion. It's like an obsession that I have that I want to just give to you so that you guys could look at it and just feel encouraged so you could continue doing what you do. Because honestly speaking, the deification rite not just helped me to appreciate, to up my game, but it helped me to look at my past and see what I did in order to get here, and that it did. Because even when I was in the days of Christianity, losing my mom and my dad apart, that's right, they died a day apart. Of course, a 12 or 13-year-old kid at that point would be lost. Therefore, at that time, the truth at that particular time, the vehicle called truth, was Christianity. It worked for a 13-year-old version of myself, even though I never knew that Satan was with me due to a lot of the situations going on in my house, like a poltergeist. Never knew a thing about a demon until I entered church. Interestingly enough, it was just so interesting because upon leaving, that's when I knew who I really was. Because I know that for certain people, it is okay for them to read a holy text and then to be told what to do, or to find some sort of individuality through a God that wants to tell them who they are. And yes, these same people will refute what I'm saying, and I don't have a problem with that. Because you know what I learned in my life? I've learned that if that's what the person wants, then dude, just let them do it. I'm not going to be angry for what they do. But if they're going to be angry for what I do, then it says a lot about who they really are. Because you know that my message is getting across the border. I'm not making fun of your God. I'm not making fun of other people. I'm simply saying that if that's what you want to do, then go ahead and do that. Just like what I'm doing. Because the prime focal point that I'm trying to get at is that by doing the deification rite, looking at who I was at that particular time, I realized that I didn't need a God to tell me what to do. I didn't need some God to tell me what good was. Because I could be good without a God or without a holy book. I mean, it's just not for me. It just did not hold my values. Other people, into the thousands, millions, even perhaps, possibly billions, they need that. And that's for them. They give results. Okay, fine. My results was exactly what I'm saying now. Because I knew that that kernel of truth that existed, that was just a tiny seed, it just bloomed for me. And what I realized is that regardless of which path you're on, I realized that within myself, and perhaps even you too, those who are watching this video, is that all I care about is helping people. Again, all I care about is helping people. It's not about me in connection with whatever path. That's why I don't care too much about coloring magic, either it be white magic or black magic. Because whatever works for me and I got results, that's what's going to, well, be within my tool shed. And I'm going to use it because it helps other people. And that's how I see it as a whole. But above all, I still think Satan and the Infernal Empire, by helping me to appreciate that, to look at the world as a whole as my oyster, and to take from where I need to in order to make myself grow. Hence, I could go to a different group like the Become a Living God that I'm not a part of, I don't endorse, but I know that that one in particular, J.S. Garrett, he spoke a very fine truth. That's why I say for those who are watching this video, if you can, yeah, please, go book your consultation with them. It works. But in my case in particular, the Infernal Empire told me to do it myself. And that's also the words of J.S. Garrett as well, the mad scientist, if you will. Simply said that that particular spell, that ritual rather, anyone could do. But you have to be more than sure that you're going to do it. You have to have that balls to finish it to its fullest. I kid you not, after I was done with that ritual, I saw myself in the bathroom. I'm trying to shave, and all of a sudden, Shemyenza comes inside of me. Then he says to me, "You need to get some sleep." And I'm like, "Well, no, sir. I don't think I need sleep right now. I need to sleep. But thank you anyway." Mind you, it's 10 in the morning. Well, I was forced to go to sleep because at that moment, shaving on my one side of my face, I like a ton of bricks. I just had to fall asleep, and I put everything down, went to bed, and I slept for the duration of that day. I woke up, just eat something, and I went right back to bed. I think J.S. Garrett, by helping others as well as myself, that when you do things like that, you're going to get fucking results. Granted, on lockdown, what are you going to do with all that extra energy? Well, you could harness your magic skills. You could get into alchemy, astronomy, necromancy, like I'm doing myself. These are the fields that I want to do to enhance just not just myself, but one day having my own empire. Because what is it about an empire that we could look at and say that empire made itself? Do we say that when we look at a building, let's say within Manhattan? No, these buildings just don't build themselves. It takes a deified individual, someone who has taken their craft to the next level. That individual didn't think the simple layman way of thinking, meaning, let someone else do it. I can't do that. I don't have the power to do that. No, in order to get shit done, to build your own fucking empire, you have to upgrade yourself in life. And that's what the rite of deification is all about, as well as the rite of wealth and prestige. I did that, and I'm very happy that I did that. Because one day when I do get that own empire, I know that I've done everything within my power. For the first time in my life, ever, in the 5 to 6 years that I've been already working with Satan, with my wealth ritual that I had with him many, many years ago. But still, 5-6 years into the making. For the first time in my life, I could finally say to myself, I feel comfortable to a point where I know I did everything. And I feel like 2 weeks ago, when I finished that deification rite and the rite of wealth and prestige, it was over. For the first time in my life, everything felt over. Like I did everything. Everything that Satan could have asked for, I've done. To have that feeling just appear right before me. It was as if it was my astral self smiling upon me, putting its own arm upon myself, saying it's all been done. You did everything. All you have to do right now is wait for everything to unfold. You did what other people would find to be impossible, grueling, even evil. But I did it, and I'm happy about that. So I encourage every single one of you, if you want to do so, do so. Do the rite of deification. Book your consultation with them. It works. But of course, please stay tuned because we're going to have plenty of videos in the future. Remember, I have Lucifer that I want to talk about with his experience. And yes, fucking King Paimon. He has a lot to say because he had helped me along this whole entire path. And then Shemyenza. These three beings I owe a lot to, and I'm happy that I've done this. So stay tuned for those videos in the future. I love every single one of you, and hell fucking Satan. Bye, guys.